All right. Well, hello, lovely people. Welcome to Mompreneurs Making Moves. I'm your host, Amarai Murdoch, CEO and founder of Infinite Exec. And for those of you who don't know a lot about what that means, you can find us online, infiniteexec.com. And what we do is we basically come in and we help powerful, high achieving business owners with all things systems, processes, operations admin. So, I mean, if you've got, a flooded inbox, you've got a full calendar, you need to strategize your time based on your values and energy. We go in, we do a deep dive, we help you out because we all know that entrepreneurship doesn't have to suck. You can actually enjoy it and do life beyond business. And so if you need a wing woman to help get yourself off the ground, definitely look us up, reach out. We're here to help you. Today, I am absolutely honored to have Janelle Devlin. She's a nurse turned holistic wellness strategist and high impact women's coach who helps moms in business build lives they actually want to live without sacrificing their health, families, or purpose along the way. And as a mom of four, a multi-million-dollar entrepreneur, and a woman who has homeschooled, adopted, and led with her faith, Janelle brings a real-world understanding of what it means to balance ambition and peace. Through her signature framework, The Daily Braid, she teaches women how to strengthen their health, deepen their relationships, and grow their business in alignment. So freedom becomes a rhythm, not a someday dream. So you're going to love this conversation. It's real, encouraging, full of practical wisdom for any mom trying to thrive in both life and business, which is what our podcast is about. Janelle, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here.
Oh, I mean, how could I not? Because for those of you who don't know, Janelle's right here in St. George, Utah. I always try to highlight our local entrepreneurs, but Janelle is the reason why this podcast actually exists. So we have to take a quick moment. We were talking on the phone. It was probably a couple months back, actually. And she was like, yeah, so basically you need to be thinking about all things babies, business, and boundaries. And I was like, wait, what did she say? Say that again. And so she said it one more time, and I was like, yes, that sounds like a podcast. And that's
So good.
how this was born. So thank you for your inspiration.
Yes, you're
And
welcome.
I mean, thank you, because
You're
here we
welcome.
are.
Sometimes those things just come into your head and you just go, it's just a download. Got to share it with you. And it's also hard for me to, I just, we're across from each other right now and I just want to look at your
I
face. So we also have
know.
our camera here so you guys might see our eyes kind of looking both ways. But it's a real honor to be here. I am so passionate about freedom and action. Freedom is messy. Building a life of freedom, like meaningful freedom and of meaningful fulfillment, it takes work.
Yeah.
And it's not, I was even thinking today, I was like, the worst thing I could do, now that my kids are a little older and Mariah has the baby, I have like the teenagers now. The worst thing I feel like I can do sometimes is to come to a meeting with my hair perfect and with everything just right, because the truth is, motherhood is messy. So here's my air dried hair, Mariah, for like motherhood. You just don't expect it to be perfect, right? You don't. You have to release. It's a lot of releasing. And today, I hope that you guys just can find some really good clarity on where you are in the stages of building your business and in motherhood, and see how you can use your gifts to grow business. You don't need to be like anyone else. You just need to be you and you aligned.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And we need to know more about you. Speaking of you, we'd love to know. Tell us a little bit about Janelle. Like, who is she? What does she do? Are there ways we can connect? All of that fun stuff, really quick.
Oh gosh, well, my background did start in nursing. So I was a surgical and post trauma nurse out in Colorado, originally from Fort Collins, Colorado, and did that full time for about 13 years before just fully jumping into the holistic side of health. I've always loved just holistic approaches. Even when I was in my pharmacology class in nursing school, I was like, I love learning how the body works and how, what the body responds to. And that really began my quest for going deep with nutritional approaches, holistic approaches. When I first had my kids, it was how can I, do this as natural as possible. I mean, I did do cloth diapers for the first baby. Second baby, I was like, screw this. We're pretty close back to back in my defense, but that was just always important to me, something that I really valued. And now I've been married 21 years. I met my husband Andrew on a cruise ship. He's from England. He's awesome. He's been in the coaching world for about 15, 16 years. And I'm not sure if I told you this, Amarai, but he worked for Tony Robbins for many years, and then transitioned to doing his own coaching. And so the reason I'm sharing that is from my nursing background and being in holistic health, kind of specializing in gut health. These last couple of years, I've just fully jumped into coaching women and high achieving women like yourself that really want to do life well. Most of us know, we've been around the block, we know what it looks like to be burned out, to go for big goals, push everything else aside, including our own health a lot of the times, mental health, physical health, spiritual health, and push it aside because we just want to achieve. Maybe we want to prove something to ourselves or prove something to someone else. Whether or not that someone else even is watching the journey, we feel this need a lot of the time to prove ourselves. Not that that's always bad, but it can lead to burnout. And so my coaching, working with high achieving women that really want to, I say, win at work without losing at home. So we're bringing in like your health, we're bringing in your marriage if you're married, we're bringing in parenting and what that looks like and what you want it to look like. So some of my clients have grown kids. We're still talking about, right? Because once a parent, always a parent.
Yeah.
And so we're still talking about what that looks like. Other of my clients have kids that are like early 20s, and their relationship is now continuing to grow and become even more healthy. And some just have little kids, and maybe others are just, newly pregnant or wanting to have a family someday. So no matter where that woman in business is in her journey, I just really bring to the table a holistic view of scaling and growing big business while also strategizing what's most important, like at end of our days, right? Like the stuff that matters, like end of our days. Usually it's the people.
Yeah.
It's our health. It's our people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. And I want to really just kind of dive in. Let's do what I call a rapid fire round.
Yeah,
I'm just
sure.
going to throw
I'm up.
something out and you just give us a quick, punchy, short answer.
Okay.
Okay. So, one thing I think a lot of women want to know that follow my podcast is how do you make money from home as a mom?
Well, I would say anyone can make money from home. I could take selfies and post them online. People do weird stuff like that, right? There's a lot of ways to make money from home. Are you asking how I specifically do, or just generally speaking to answer?
Yeah, just general. Yeah.
I
Like,
would say the best way to make money from home for a woman would be number one, to get really clear on your values. What is it you really value? So one of my clients, I was on the phone with her earlier today, and her top three values are freedom, legacy, and wellness. And so because those, and we worked together to get really clear. And it sounds so simple, but when she got clear on what those values are, now we're just connecting the dots to everything else in her life. Her goal to hit this new six-figure business, this new level of six figures in her business this year, headed to seven figures for next year, is all tied back to freedom, legacy, and wellness. And so it's how can she show up in her gifts, growing business, how can she show up for her clients and the people that she serves. And so number one, it has to be connected to who you are. And it's a knowing thyself, right? It's a know thyself. So making money from home, although there's a gazillion different ways to do it, I would say the best way is the way that's best for you. So the best way is the way that's best for you, is knowing your values. And then it's having someone in your corner so that you get really clear on actually what you're really shooting for.
yeah.
Are we talking like $2,000 a month or $20,000 a month or $2 million a month? It's crazy for our brain to think that way, but when we are clear on who we are and what we bring to the world, then these big audacious goals, all of a sudden we have clarity around them. So that's how I would answer that question, which is
Yeah.
kind of like get some clarity on that, because then when you're in your gift, you will show up differently and the creative ideas will start flowing. So
Yeah.
to give you an example, for myself, I kind of talk about, I have a quiz on my website on janelledevlin.com, and it's kind of like, what's your feminine superpower? Talk a lot about masculine and feminine and what that looks like. A lot of us women who've been going hard in business, perhaps have been tapping into our masculine a lot to make it happen.
Yeah.
Again, not that it's bad, but it certainly is not sustainable. So how can we tap into our feminine superpower? And so I kind of have these 4 different archetypes. I have the connector, I have the strategist, I have the visionary, and the nurturer. There's a lot of different renditions of this. This is just what works for me and kind of what I connect with. So if you are a connector, starting your day, whatever you're doing from home, with connecting with another human is great. So like we're here at my office space at Kiln in St. George, and this is so good for me because I'm a
Mhm.
connector. So it's great for me to be around other people, even if I'm doing
Yeah.
more tedious things in my work, right?
Yeah.
I would say, knowing you, Mariah, as you might even be the strategist. We'll have to see when you take the quiz, but
Yeah.
you might be the strategist. You help people to get really clear on their strategy, and then you go in and you take care of the details, and you make like strategy sexy. Feel free to use that tagline.
Thank you.
Really, you make strategies because we need it. If we don't have the strategy, you can be the best visionary, but if you don't have someone to get that vision and put it into actual action, it's just an idea floating out there.
Yeah.
You're just full of great ideas, but you have to be that strategist. So a strategist is going to do really great starting his or her day. We'll talk about women, I guess, today, of course, but starting her day, probably reviewing some goals, probably looking at systems, jumping into the CRM, what's been happening. Okay, for
Yeah.
my goal for the year, how am I on track?
Mhm.
It's going to feel very grounded. Maybe jot out some things, jot out to-do lists for the day.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'd be like the strategist. And then the visionary is going to connect really well as far as making money from home. If you're a visionary, to get clear in your vision, maybe you have like a Canva board, like a vision board, and you go in and you might tweak some things a little bit. You might just take a look and enjoy your morning drink, coffee, tea while looking at your vision, writing some things out. Maybe it's listening. I have an audio that I put together of just my vision for this next year, and it's, yes, it's weird for me. It still feels weird, but I like listen to myself, reminding myself of who I am, because although I'm definitely a connector,
Yeah.
that visionary part really just does come into play. I will say it, the visionary part for growing business needs to come into play in some way, whether we're, no matter what kind of archetype we are. And then the nurturer is going to do great to take some time for herself in the day, even if it's like 10 minutes. I remember when my kids were little, so I share this since you have,
Mhm.
a new little baby, little son, is I would kind of call it like my 15-minute vacations. And so if the baby was napping and it was summer, I might like lay outside and just like hike up my shirt a little bit, let my belly get some sun, and just lay outside and call
Mhm.
like find ways to just take a moment, or whatever that looks like, setting a timer for just even a short amount of time, but something where you can take time for yourself.
Yeah.
It's never it's never too much to just find out how you can take some time for yourself. And nurturers do really great to start their day with nurturing themselves in some way. So I just mentioned that because as people kind of find where they are and which one they most connect with, then I can kind of then I share some more ideas of what's going to work best probably in your day for you to feel aligned with the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
So there's my
That's
long answer to that, which is it's not simple, right? But it is when you know who you are. It's just not a simple global answer for everyone.
yeah.
And then it's just tapping into the goal setting. That's then like the how.
Yeah.
It's either the strategy or it's like the state. So we just talked about the state, knowing who we are and how we show up, and then there's the strategy that goes along with that.
Yeah, that's so valuable. Thank you for sharing
Yeah,
that.
sure.
And when you're talking about the different types of business owners, you're saying that once they identify who they are, then you can help guide them in, executing and fleshing out a plan for aligning with their values and aligning with, what they've identified as, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that really is what sets entrepreneurs apart, ones that are actually enjoying the journey from those that are just in the hustle and completely burned out.
Yeah.
Because even when things are hard, maybe there's a month where you've lost money, some relationships have been challenged, and you're thinking, gosh, why is this so hard? Is it supposed to be this hard? And I think the answer is, yeah, actually it is. It's supposed to be really hard, or everybody would do it.
Yeah.
When you know that and you know, okay, this is normal.
Yeah.
And my husband and I will talk about this often with our clients, but we'll say, if I told you, Mariah, that I was going to be around the corner, let me go back. Okay. If I told you, Mariah, okay, let's see. Let me slow down for a minute here. Okay. So if I popped out from around the corner and yelled boo and you were not expecting to see me, what would happen?
I would, be thrown off, a little
Yeah.
bit
I
scared.
would scream a little bit or something. Right? You'd be like, ah. But if I told you I was going to be around the corner and that, hey, in 5 seconds I'm going to jump out and say boo, that'd be different, right?
Right.
So I think just in business, it's knowing if you know that these things are ahead and you know it's actually normal to have months where you're like, oh my gosh, we were scraping the bottom of the barrel. But I know that I know what I'm shooting for. I know this is normal. We can persevere.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times it's just knowing, A, it's knowing what's normal. B, it's having someone in your corner to help you kind of see a different perspective. And thirdly, it's just being able to know that we do have to have a strategy in place. We do have to have ways in which we can have extra money set aside, ideally for when those dry months come, for
Yeah.
for when we have to redo an entire website or we have to do those things. So that's part of the strategy that we want to bring in. But um, for women in business, I think really we just have to know how to protect our energy so that we can sustain growth. And
Yeah.
it's okay to not have all the answers. And I think just the ability to be able to partner together is what's so powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. And um, what is one thing that you would say is your best piece of advice for moms who are thinking about business?
Moms who are thinking about starting a business,
Yes.
I'd say moms that are thinking of starting a business, I would just say you want to plan together first. You want to plan together first of what you're actually wanting. A lot of times we have tons of great ideas
Hmm.
and really brilliant ideas. I mean,
Yeah.
us women come up with amazing ideas. We're such naturally just such creators. We're such, bring things into existence kind of a thing. Um, so I love that about us. I love that about me. I love that about you. And the the challenge is being able to create while having a plan in place. So knowing who's gonna be on your team. What is it you love doing? What is it you hate doing? And again, this is again where you come into play. You're going to be fantastic helping a lot of visionaries in particular because you come
Hmm.
in and take care of the systems, right?
Yeah.
And so just knowing if you're wanting to start a business, it's going to be essential that there's a plan ahead of time. If you have family, there has to be a plan like written out that you should have shared accountability with. I really truly believe I've seen it. I've seen it land in so many other directions when there's not a plan in place. I've been in rooms and masterminds where people are earning 10x what I've ever earned. And you think, man, all that money,
Yeah.
all that freedom, all the things like, you must be just kind of soaring. Nope. I've never seen a group of more unfulfilled people just constantly seeking validation and not enjoying their actual life. I know
Yeah.
that's kind of a generalized statement, but I've been in those rooms. Maybe you have too. There's so much more we're seeking for fulfillment, truly at the depths of our soul.
Yeah.
So in the work that we're doing, if we wanted to work from home or wanted to create something from home, it's getting really clear on what are your values and having, again, accountability. If you're in a marriage or a partnership, making sure that they're on the same page with you, because that will exponentially simplify the whole journey if you're clear on those things. Then it's just like a course reroute.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, the boat's a little bit off. We're like a percentage of a degree off. We can reroute versus all of a sudden we're on a ship going to Italy. And then all of a sudden we're like hitting the Sinai Peninsula and we're like, wait, we're in the complete opposite direction.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's like a homeschool mom drop right there. My geography is pretty amazing. But
Love
really, it's like,
that.
did we know we're going one direction? All of a sudden, we're going the opposite. It's like, how did I get here? Well, because we weren't clear on what we're actually shooting for. We
Yeah.
thought this great idea would just take us to financial security, but it's just not. There's so much involved, especially anyone. We can make a couple $1,000s a month with our ideas, but if you want to make a six-figure or a seven-figure business, you have to have that in place.
Yeah.
And I would say, even some of my clients that come to me that maybe are starting fresh. So I'm thinking of someone recently came from a corporate background, has been very successful, wants to come in and starting her own thing. So with the current business, not earning six figures or seven figures, but has done it in other areas of business.
Yeah.
So with her coming in with these new ideas, we're really clear on, okay, what is it you want? All right. And not just like the money, but like, what is it you're shooting for? What do you want your life to look like in 5 years?
Yeah.
I want you to picture your day, your perfect day in 5 years. What does that look like? Because if it's not sitting in a desk for 9 hours,
Yeah.
we need to know that. Because
Yeah.
if not, it's going to look like sitting at a desk for 9 hours,
Mhm.
more than likely.
Yeah.
So just getting clear on that is so huge. Again, I feel like it's the easiest thing to do and the easiest thing not to do is stop, take some time, hire a good coach that can be in your corner, that can talk you through this. I know I even do like some shorter workshops. I have one coming up in November that's like a 3-day,
Mm.
$7 to attend towards the end of November. And so that's just why, like, get some guidance where you can come in and just get clear.
Yeah.
And that saves so much time and saves so much money. So you can start becoming profitable sooner.
Yeah, yeah. And profit, that's an interesting topic because a lot of us think, like you were talking about, people who
Mhm.
make 10x, whatever, you know, we could ever dream of even.
Mhm.
Um, Even though they're making a lot of money does not mean they're walking away with it.
So true.
So
Hmm.
profit's a whole other
So
conversation.
true. Hmm.
And just because, we have expenses, we have taxes, we have whatever else
Yes.
we
Oh
have,
my
things
gosh.
come up,
Things you have to
like,
think about.
yeah. And so business is more than just, oh, I make this much money. That means I'm doing really well. And also, I think we limit ourselves if we put our success as equal to how much money we make. Because, like you were just talking about,
Mm.
those people that are making a lot of money aren't necessarily filled. They're probably one of the most least fulfilled people.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so money does not equal success. So what does? What would you say does?
Success. I believe this is true. I believe this is a good global statement, a true global statement. I think success is when we can know that even if today was our last day, we're so proud of how we've lived and we're so proud of how we've loved. I think if we can feel really great about that, that's probably the best place to start.
Yeah.
And if we're feeling like, gosh, my priorities have been out of order. Like I've done great in business, but my marriage is struggling, or I feel really disconnected with my kids. That's okay. How fantastic to have that awareness. Now you get to jump in and we get to strategize those parts. And we get to make sure that your values, usually it's, they might think they're clear on their values. Usually it's like, oh my gosh, I had no idea those were actually my values. Get clear on the values and whoa, again, connect those dots now to family, to marriage, to parenting, to those things we're talking, the things that are really fulfilling. So I'd say that's really true success, to be proud of yourself, knowing you didn't do it perfectly. The lowest standard, of course, is perfection because it's unattainable. So we're not looking for perfection,
Yeah.
but we are wanting to make sure that we are living in a way that makes us proud. Because if it makes us proud, then when we talk about legacy and kids, um,
Yeah.
it only benefits those people that we love the most.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And one thing too that you said, I wanted to go back to it. It was, if you knew what was coming, if you knew what to
Hmm.
expect, then you realize that the culture of being an entrepreneur is not freaking out every time you realize you had a hard month or something came up that was totally out of the blue. But instead, it's like you can expect there's going to be an ebb and flow, right?
Hmm.
And so, with that being said, that reminded me of something I read in an article. Research shows that the main difference between entrepreneurs who are successful and entrepreneurs who aren't are that the ones who are successful, they expect and they know, like they know their seasons, right, when it
Hmm.
comes to their business, and they know that when things take a drop, when things take a dip, it's a moment,
Hmm.
versus the
Hmm.
entrepreneur who fails, they think, oh my goodness, this defines my
Good
business,
point.
right?
Yes.
So that's actually the difference between the successful entrepreneur, one who keeps going, and the one who just shuts down.
Yeah.
They think this is my identity, this moment is my identity, and the other one says, no, it's just a moment. I already know I'm
That's
going to
so
come out
good.
on the other side. So
Yep.
that aligns with that research, and that's, I think,
Hmm.
was just worth mentioning really quick
It's
before
so
I
good.
forgot.
It's so good. And I think knowing that any problem that we face, whether it's financial problem, a problem with people, relationships involved within our business, if it's a problem with knowing what the next step is in our business, how to scale, it's either one of two things. It's either a state problem. I mentioned this before. It's either state or strategy. So the state is where it comes in of like, what am I actually searching for? And like, why am I doing this? The state is, how am I showing up? When that thing happened that was so disappointing, how was my body responding? What was my focus? What was the language I was using? Okay, acknowledging that and then saying, what is it? How do I actually want to show up? So changing our state, our actual physical state, is more important than we even realize. Talking about research, this whole brain connection, this whole neuroscience of when we shift from, let's just say we've been at a desk and we get outside and we start telling ourselves the truths of who we are. Like it shifts our psychology more than any drug. And so that's huge. So you got the state, then you have the strategy. Again, you're feeling stuck. It's like it might be time to say, I have been functioning this way without systems, and now I'm feeling it. Right? You know what that's like going into organizations when they don't have the systems in place. You can
Yeah.
only go so far. You
Yeah.
are on a leash, a short leash.
Yeah.
And so to have someone to help with systems and strategy is so important. And I think that is probably We can make that so complicated, but it's either what we're telling ourselves in the state that we find ourselves in, or it says we need an actual really fantastic strategy. We need to bring some people in to our world to be able to make that next level happen.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And one thing I want to end on is being vulnerable as a business owner because we all want to appear successful. We want to be accepted and liked. It goes back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We want to feel like we belong. And so none of us ever want to really come out and be like, oh, I have no money in the bank right now, or I just lost a huge client, or I feel like I'm doing really well, but I can't keep up with everything. And I need to ask for help, but I don't want to. I just want to appear like I have it all together. So I think if you could speak to the mompreneur who is successful, and she probably needs your services. She really needs a wing woman and a coach who can back her up, who can encourage her, who can help her go to that next level. But she's hesitant because she doesn't want to be vulnerable. You know, what would you say to that mompreneur that probably needs to work with you?
Mm. When you can open your fists that are possibly clenched because you've been working so hard and you've been doing an amazing job. When you can open your hands, you can actually, number one, start giving yourself credit for all of the freaking amazing work that you have done to get to this point in your life. Yes, it's been messy. Yes, it's been hard. There's been a lot of challenges, but when you release the grip, we get to release the grip, we get to open our hands. When we open our hands, we open up the possibility of what can be. And when we are vulnerable in a safe place, I say as a coach, like my job is just simply to create the container for people to come, show up, be real, be vulnerable. Like, let's get right to what's really going on. We're spending less time talking about the past, and most of the time we're looking ahead. It's the whole rear view mirror thing. Like, we're looking through the windshield. We're not driving forward, looking in the rear view mirror. So that vulnerability, it unlocks purpose for the next season. It unlocks strategy for the next season because you actually take a look in the mirror. You actually spit on the mirror, you wipe it off, you take a look and you go, okay, this is who I am. I'm so proud of this part of who I am as a woman. And that's a lot of time, my first 3 months with one of my clients, my more recent clients that started beginning of the summer. We needed 3 months to do just that, honestly. And she's a successful woman, but to get really clear on who she is, who she wants to be, like, that's not time wasted. That's probably the best investment, she would say today, or the best investment in herself. Because now how she's showing up in business, completely different. But she had to get really honest with that vulnerable parts, with the voices in her head that were popping up in different circumstances that were keeping her from being who she's created to be, from showing up in a powerful, dynamic way.
Yeah. So you're actually saying there's power in vulnerability.
Oh my gosh, yeah, there's so much power in it.
Love
Yeah.
that.
I have someone just recently um, who was able to come to the conclusion herself that she has a problem with alcohol. She's like, I can't even believe I'm talking to you about this.
Mm.
But, knowing it's a safe environment,
Yeah.
knowing that I'm there in her corner to help walk through and create like the real, help her to get clear on what is the truth about who she is. Why is it that she does not like that relationship with alcohol, which I hate to say relationship with alcohol. I guess I should say, but really truly, she would say it has been a relationship. Moving forward, it's no longer going to be a relationship with alcohol. It's a relationship with herself, what she knows to be true, and then having the strategy of what she needs to do to make sure that that has no control over her.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is powerful. So, I mean, if you're looking for a breakthrough and you're a successful mompreneur or just entrepreneur in general, you happen to stumble upon this
Mhm.
episode, definitely reach out to Janelle because, I mean, she's gonna be filled up pretty quickly. So
Yeah,
you
for
want
the
to,
first year, my kids are not homeschooling. I mentioned I have 14s. Maybe I did not mention, but 14s are 14, 15, 15, and 17. My oldest is a senior.
wow.
So all but my senior in high school are now at a local academy. And so I've opened up my schedule for the first time
Wow.
in all of these years. So it's been really fun.
Wow.
So yeah, I would just say if you're listening and you're thinking, yeah, like, that's what I want. I don't even know what that looks like yet. I'm not sure where to start. Then I would just say the simple thing I have for you to do today is if you head to my website on just janelledevlin.com, two L's, two E's, And you can take my quiz, your feminine leadership superpower. And it's just going to help you to see, number one, I always want you to recognize your brilliance first. So it just helps you to see the strengths you already bring to your business, the strengths you already bring to your home and your relationship. And it's quick, it's insightful, and it's a way you can just kind of see where you land and what might be the most helpful in your next steps. So just a fun way to get clear for yourself. And then in addition, anyone who's listening to this on the show can jump on my website and also just book an explore call. And that's where we jump on the phone together and you can just kind of see what it's like to experience having a coach in your corner. And if that's something that you need in this next season, then I'm here to support you.
Yeah, that's great. Great resource. We're so
Thank
thankful. And we
you.
didn't even get to your adoption story or any of the other things. Like, we're gonna have you back for sure
Oh,
because,
yes, that sounds great. Always happy to talk about that. And thank you so much for
oh,
having me. And hopefully, everyone feels that there's some takeaway from today that you can bring into your world. And number one, recognizing your strengths.
yeah. And aligning with your values, right?
Mm,
So that you can get clarity to be able to execute and
so
live
true.
live your dream life. Yeah, absolutely. That is really powerful work
Thank you.
and just an inspiring conversation with Janelle Devlin. Again, make sure you visit her website, janelledevlin.com, two L's, two um,
Yeah,
E's, right?
I don't normally say that, but I guess, yeah.
And I'll also have the link below as well. And I know so many of us can relate to that balance of building a business while, raising a family and wanting to do it all well. But just remember that, you've got to come back to the foundations and you probably need someone to help you do that. So don't put all that pressure to figure it out on your own, but instead lean into your community, lean into your resources. We have great, great, great resources and we have people who have been where you want to get to. So all you got to do is piggyback off of their success, talk to them, connect. We're here and we're ready to help you. So, yeah, the Feminine Leadership Superpower Quiz, it'll help you discover that unique way that you're wired to lead, both in business and at home. And you can take it right now. In fact, I'd love to engage. Just go ahead and take the quiz and put in the comments what your archetype is.
Great idea.
I'd love to see how many of us are strategists, how many of us are connectors,
Yeah.
and we'll, engage there. And Janelle, thank you again for joining us. It has been such a joy.
It's been so great.
And we
Thank you.
will have you again. And again, thanks for helping us create this podcast. You,
Yeah.
you were the inspiration.
Oh
So,
my gosh. Well, thank you so much. And thanks for doing what you do with passion and excellence.
oh, thank you.